We live?
Yep.
We are?
Well, it says is live now on Social Media Mastery 101.
Awesome. So we are live. Awesome. Okay. So, hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to all the Canadians. And I guess happy normal Monday to all the Americans. All right, so this morning we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have an interview with the fabulous Annette Parker. Now, just to give you a little bit of backstory, I met Annette about last July, actually. We were at a story creation session, so like a story workshop. And the whole idea behind that workshop was for us to get our story clarified. Because one of the things that, actually connecting with people on social media, you need to be authentically you. And one of the things that you need to get past is this idea of vulnerability. So the whole idea was for us to be able to craft who we were in a very succinct manner so we could share it with people, so people could see and get to know the real us. Right. And so I met Annette. We spent a weekend together actually going through the story intensive. And then we ended up doing a coaching program together, and I got to know her a little bit more. And when we started this group, one of the things was Annette wanted to get more of a handle on social media. And I have to tell you, Annette has participated in all the programs, and she is one of my top students. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do, not just on social media, but utilizing social media to build her business going forward. I can't wait to see, because I know she's already getting the results. So today I want to interview Annette, and I want to introduce Annette to you and introduce what she has created, which I think is a phenomenal system. And I think it's a good idea within this community that we get to know more about each other and get to know what we all do, right? Because you never know, that help that you're looking for could be right next door and you don't even know it. All right. So welcome, Annette. Welcome.
Bow, yeah.
So, Annette, so tell us a little bit about you and this phenomenal system. I'm going to let you talk about the system, but this phenomenal system that you get. So tell us a little bit about you, a little backstory about you and how long you've been in this industry.
I grew up in a mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive home, which resulted in me learning beliefs and patterns that really didn't serve me well throughout my life. I always knew, even as a child, that when I touched people, something changed in them. And I didn't understand what it was, how it worked, what was going on. I just knew if somebody was hurting and I put my hands on them, it didn't hurt no more. So I continued when I approached my mom and the elders in my life, because of their beliefs, they basically told me that what I was doing was devil's work, and which made me believe there was something wrong with me, that I was evil, that I was bad. So these were the beliefs that I had carried along with me, which resulted in drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sex addiction, all sorts of different things, living a life trying to figure out where I fit in. Where did I belong? Because I had this thing that I carried with me that caused, it helped people, but I was told it was bad. So that was a lot of confusion within my mind. As I got older, I continued, going through different things. And then one day I was sitting and my life had a big drastic change. I was working in corporate. I lost my corporate job. This was a job that I thought I was going to retire in, right? Because of the beliefs was, you get a good job, you get a secure job, and then you retire there, get your benefits, get, all that. Well, that's not the way it is in today's society, right? Anybody that's probably 30 and under are not going to have a clue what I'm talking about. But anybody 30 and over probably will, because that's what our parents did. That's what our grandparents did. That was the norm, so to speak. So when I lost that job, I was really, really devastated, right? Like, what am I going to do? Like, here, I had worked my way up from, cleaning toilets in the hospital and slinging beer and low life drinking dives. What do you call them in the States, down in the South, hoochie bars or something? I don't know. Well, there's a name for it. I can't think of what that name is, right? Like Dixie bar or whatever. Anyways, So I had worked up from like literally cleaning toilets in the hospital up to middle management and corporate, lost that. And so I sat there and started contemplating and, kind of what I would call at that time meditating, probably not what I would call today, but it was a form of meditation, just praying, oh God, what do I do now? Right. So I was sitting one afternoon out in the bush, or not in the bush, in a park, and there was like this gazebo there. And I was doing some meditation, kind of going, all right, God, you got to give me some clarity. What am I supposed to do? And I really felt guided going back into my heart and remembering that, like, well, you've got healing hands. You have hands that heal. This cannot be terrible. So I had worked with a lady who was a United Church minister's daughter, and she was a psychic medium. Robin Battelle, I think is her last name. And being that it had the combination of the church and healing hands was the name of the weekend retreat that I went on, and it was with a psychic medium, I thought this is perfect because it made perfect sense to me. So I realized that it was actually a gift and not a curse. So as I was sitting in that park, I was meditating and saying, okay, God, what do I do? Right? Like, do I go back and find another corporate job, or do I start following the path of being a spiritual healer? Right. And I'm sitting there going, I'm not asking for much. And as I'm meditating, there's this bird in a bush, and it's like chirp, chirp, chirp. And I'm like, it's really interrupting my meditation. That's how good my meditation was back then, right? That a bird would interrupt it. Today, it complements it. But I'm sitting there going, well, you know what? I'm not asking for much. If I'm supposed to follow the spiritual path, have another bird come down and chirp with this one. Is that such a crazy thing to ask for? It's quite possible. It could be coincidence, whatever the case. Well, the next thing I know, there's 5 birds in that bush, and they're making a hell of a racket. And I looked up and I went, okay, I get the message. So that's kind of where I started with the journey of the healing. And then I just continued taking different courses and following along. So I learned a lot of different healing modalities, hands-on healing, body work, like with massage. I'm a certified reflexologist. Like, I at one point thought that I had taken on too much, and that I was an expert, as a jack of all trades, but an expert of nothing. And I was actually beating myself up for holding 38 different certificates in different modalities, because I've taken all sorts of different courses. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't master anything like this. Again, beating myself up because of the beliefs, because of what I've been through, growing up, the different things that have occurred. And then about 4 years ago, I was doing a Reiki session, and my voice wanted to make noise. It wanted to make sounds, right? Like, I was very, very compelled to make these sounds. Now, stepping back a bit, I took one healing modality called Shambhala. And in one of the levels, it teaches you to use your voice to help balance the chakras. And when I took that course, that was the one thing that really resonated with me. Sound and vibration really is something that resonates with me. I also work with IQ technologies, which could be another complete interview, but that it has to do with frequencies. But I'd always felt this need to the singing sound. Like, I just always made me feel good. So when I was working on this client, I'm like, I can't start making noise in the middle of a Reiki session. Like, they're going to think I'm totally whack. So again, with the beliefs, with the programming, you can't do it. You have to follow, stay in line with the sheep. This is the way it's done. And don't get me wrong, with Reiki, I truly believe that there is a protocol, and I respect it. And that's one of the main reasons that made it difficult for me to combine the voice with the Reiki, with the energy. So then I started kind of playing with it, and I met a group of ladies. We went up, spent a couple weekends up in Bala, beautiful country up there. Wonderful people, the wonderful ladies, really made a change in my life. And they really pushed me. I talked to them about what was going on, and they're like, you got to do this. Like, this is something you've got to do. This is yours. You have to do it. So one weekend up there, I asked one of the ladies if she would be willing to allow me to experiment, because it's all was in my head and in my body, but I had never actually performed it with a client. So I did a session with her, and basically it was amazing. So from there, I've gone on a little bit further, done some more, different clients, and I started incorporating what it turned out. And it's still evolving. Like, I was thinking this morning, something kind of came through a little bit more about it last night. And I thought, well, again, went into the not good enough, there's something wrong with me, this isn't perfect. And then I realized, you know what? You look at the first Apple computer in comparison to where Apple is today.
Yeah.
Anything that's worthwhile and is valuable is constantly evolving and changing and getting better and better. So I'm able now today to be able to switch the perception of the way I view things due to the training. And that's also something else I bring into my coaching with my clients. And with the vibe, it is a combination. It stands for vibrational, intuitive, basic energy. I had to come up with a name for this modality, and it made sense because it's vibrational, which is the sound of the voice, which is the frequency. Intuitive is, there isn't like, like A, B, C, D, E. There is no step by step. It is all done through intuition, by using the intuition of the guidance that I was only able to achieve because of the fact that I have so many different healing modalities behind me and all of the certificates. So now that what I had thought was a curse and was terrible is actually truly my benefit. And it kind of goes to say that, yeah, everything happens for a reason. We may not know it at the moment, but there is a reason behind it. So looking back all the years later, I can see why I had to learn all of these different modalities so that I could come to the point of creating vibes. So that's where the intuition comes into. Basic energy work is, there's basic energy work. The way I look at many of the energy, there is a basic formula, and then there's just these little offsprings to make it a little bit different, right? That's where the basic comes in. So vibrational, intuitive, basic, and energy is the energy stuff. So what I've done is I've combined the vibration of my voice with energy work similar to Reiki. It is not Reiki in respect to the keeping to the Reiki standards, but it's a combination of all of the energy works that I have learned. And intuitively, I am able to actually bring the chakras into balance in the body. And what it also does is, a lot of the clients, what they refer to after a session is they say they feel clearer, they feel lighter, they feel clean, right? So what I've kind of came through meditation last night was that the vibe session, what a vibe session actually does is it balances the chakra and brings your awareness to those areas in your life that need to be, or that require some sort of clarity. So I often say to the clients, come in with a question. Is there an intention that you wish to achieve from this session? What is the intention? And they seem to all say that even when they didn't come in with an intention, they may have had a question in their mind that they got the answer to via the vibe session. And I'm feeling it is because it's bringing the chakras into balance. It's bringing the awareness to the unconscious and the subconscious, and even sometimes the conscious, of where it is in your life you need to address and put some focus on, right? Like, I don't like to say you need to, it's not that way, but it's somewhere we all have things we need to address and we need to focus on. So it just helps bring some clarity into that area.
That's awesome. So just to let everyone know, I mean, the reason why I support Annette so thoroughly is because my first experience with her was just a Reiki experience. And then I actually went through one of the vibe sessions. And, my testament is that, even though you may not understand how this works, it does work. I mean, the Reiki session that I had with Annette, I was suffering from carpal tunnel syndrome, and my wrist was just giving me an awful pain. And Annette helped relieve that, to the fact that now up until now, I have never had that pain again. And I was suffering with it for a while. And with the Reiki and with the vibe session that she did, even though she did it remotely, I must say that, she picked up on things very, very quickly. And the best thing about it was that I felt so calm. Someone described it as feeling mellow, but I felt calm. And I felt more relaxed, and like there was a lot of clarity, like a lot more clarity. And I'm not quite sure, again, it's like electricity. You don't see it, but it's there and it works. It's energy in the air. Everything is energy. And the more you get into quantum physics, the more you understand. So you may not understand how it works, but it's something to definitely investigate a little bit more. So Annette, I just gave you my testament, but the thing is that we're here in this group talking about social media and marketing on, well, basically, using social media as a way of connecting with our potential ideal clients, and then with the opportunity to have a conversation and then convert them later on. So how have you used social media in the past to actually really just build your relationship with your potential clients?
Okay, so prior to meeting and working with you, I will start there on how I did it because I do it completely different now. So originally what I was doing was just putting up posts, putting up, like, hey, this is available. I've got this going, like here, check out here, check out this website, go, I have a promotion happening, and it really wasn't working for me. Obviously it wasn't. It really wasn't at all. And then I met Josephine, and as she says, we met in the Story Intensive in Toronto. It was about a year ago, and we've done several other courses. And I got to know Josephine and trust Josephine. And through working now with Josephine, I'm realizing that that is really, and this might be simple basic 101 for some people, but it wasn't for me, is, people do business with people they know and trust. So the social media, my approach now, because of what Josephine has taught me, is not everything I did, I look back at, and I even realized it at the time prior to working with Josephine, everything I did was salesy. And I had no idea how to not make it salesy, but still get my point and message across. And that's what Josephine has taught through her programs, is exactly how to do that, how to achieve the clients that you want, exactly how to get your chosen avatar. So now it's about posting information, giving my audience content, right? And like, what does content mean? So it's information about chakras. So like, you will see in the coming weeks that I'm going to be talking about the different areas and the different chakras and what each one represents. It's nothing salesy about it, right? But the intention of it through the social media marketing, through the marketing aspect of it, is to get them involved, get them to want to follow you. Like I had 36 weeks ago, I went through, I think it was from you that you had said, this is making that connection, either you or one of our other mentors, having a constant connection with your audience. So being that I didn't know how to write an email that wasn't salesy, because I hadn't worked with Josephine long enough yet, I started doing what I call a Sunday inspiration. And I would just go into books, or I would Google, and I would get inspirational quotes, and I would put 2 or 3 quotes on an email, and I sent that out every Sunday. No salesy about it. I even deleted my website off of the email. It was just clear communication, nothing else. Something to think about on a Sunday, for the rest of your week, just a thought, right? To bring something positive in. And I've been getting some really awesome responses from that. Like, I've got people actually responding to the emails going, oh, thank you so much. This is exactly what I needed to hear today. And granted, it's not my work. I'm taking other people's work and sharing it. And that was one of the things that I had also didn't realize, was I always thought that all the content that I share had to be my own. And I'm now realizing through working with Josephine, it's okay to reutilize somebody else's, as long as you're giving them the credit, right? That you're not, plagiarizing it. You're actually taking it. So it's working great. I feel that I'm getting more more people getting involved, checking out the comments, and then also playing with the comments, because there's some posts that will get more interaction than others. So being aware of that. And actually, I didn't realize that it's like another job, just keep it up with the marketing and social media. It's like, I'm not happy about that aspect of it.
But we'll be taking care of that.
Oh yeah, I know. But it's about like looking at the posts, like which of your posts actually get the most activity, the most likes, the most comments, and then how to post so that you get those comments. And that's all the stuff that I learned from Josephine that I did not in all the other marketing programs and all the other business programs, webinars. They didn't teach me that. And if they did, I totally missed it.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I want to emphasize a couple of things. There's only 3 things that in social media marketing that you have to be aware of. 1, connection, conversation, and conversion. And I think what happens is that there are some people that may do the connection because they reach out, they make sure they do the connection. They don't do the conversation. They try to go straight to conversion. And what happens is that people get turned off. So I'm happy that you're following this because yes, it's a longer road, but it definitely is a much more solid foundation that you're building. So tell me, from the work that we've done, what's the growth path of V.I.B.E in the upcoming weeks? Because I know that you've had not just success with me with V.I.B.E, but you've had many other clients. Like, what are some of the comments that they have had, and how are you planning on leveraging those going forward with the social media?
So with the comments of it is the clarity. What I find the common denominator, the common factor that everybody says is they feel lighter, cleaner, and more clarity, right? So I've had other clients who have reported, actually, Carol can give a testimonial. Carol, she's given me it verbally, so I guess I can share it publicly here because she didn't. She had an issue with her hips. Carol had done a lot of traveling, and because of her work and what she does, she flies a lot. She's in different cities, so in hotels, people's couches, you know, she's connecting with other people and stuff like that. So she had an issue with her hip. And after the V.I.B.E session, and again, the V.I.B.E sessions are done remotely because Carol's in Chicago, and she hasn't had an issue with her hip since, not in the severity that it has. So I don't like to state that, like, because it is like, I do not profess to cure, diagnose, or like it isn't a substitute for medical treatment, but it's a complementary to everything else, right? So it's not necessarily, it does not to say that it's going to heal everybody, but there is some healing, just like the Reiki healed your, and I wanted to clarify too, that wasn't a Reiki session, that was just your wrist hurt and I gave you Reiki. It wasn't a full session, it was like 10 minutes.
See, this is how much I know.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a full session. Just we were working together, and she complained about her wrist. I went, here, give me that. And I did some Reiki on it, and surprisingly, which even to my surprise, that it still doesn't hurt today, and that's
it doesn't hurt.
But that's what I get from the clients. And then moving forward, I'm in the process and very, very near to developing a how do I call it? A membership program. All right. And it's a monthly membership program. So what it does is it's a value of $600 of services that you get every single month. So that will include a monthly V.I.B.E session, because with just like anything else, like you go to the chiropractor once, you adjust your back, that doesn't mean that it's going to be perfectly adjusted. It's something that we have to do consistently. Our vitamins, when we take vitamins, we have to do that on a daily basis. We have to get our teeth cleaned every 6 to 9 months, right? Like there's things that need to be done for maintenance, let's say, right? So for an experience, you can have a single V.I.B.E session to experience it, but to get the true benefits of it, it is something that needs to be done on a regular basis, just like reflexology. Like the World Health Organization says that people who experience reflexology on a regular basis get the benefits for a longer period of time. Right. So the same with any work, any alternative therapy, any therapy really, like physiotherapy. You go for one physiotherapy session, you have to go for many of them and then continue maintaining it afterwards. So the monthly program consists of a monthly V.I.B.E session, 1 hour of coaching with me. And what would the benefit of that be? Well, there might be some things that are brought up from your V.I.B.E session, the thoughts that you want to process, or areas in your life that you want clarity to. So you get 1 hour of my time to help you with that, to shifting the perception and changing the belief systems within yourself. It also consists of 2 other sets of frequencies. So one of them is called soul tones, and they are created via the IQ technology. So that I take a 15-second voice sample, run it through an award-winning computer program, which analyzes 1.5 billion bits of information to create a set of frequencies specifically for you to help release those energetic blocks that are stopping you from moving forward. So that is about a 24-minute recording that you can sit and meditate with. It is a form of meditation. You do not want to be out driving a car or operating any sort of heavy machinery, because it is a form of brain entrainment. The second one is something that I call, we have the soul tones, and then I have body tones. And the program is called the AO scan. And it also takes your voice sample and runs it through a program to create a set of frequencies to bring balance within your body. Now, what it also does is it uses a combination of radionics and magnetics. So it's all done, this is all done virtually, people. And if anybody's familiar with radionics, it's sending energy via frequencies to the body where the body requires it, where the body needs it. And it can be done with something as simple as your voice imprint and as a picture of you. Now it's something that I've just started. I don't have a whole lot of testimonials on it yet, but it's the results that the people that I've worked with so far has been amazing. And even my own personal results that I've seen. So you're getting the AO scan, you're getting the, so you're getting the body scan, the soul tones, the vibe session, and also the 1 hour coaching. And then if that isn't enough support for on a monthly basis, there's also a private Facebook group where others who are in the program can communicate with each other. You can get feedback from other people who are going through possibly the exact same thing. So you're not alone. You know, if I'm not available, somebody else will be available in the group. So you get all 5 things. It's valued over $600. I don't know the exact total, but I know it's over 600, and it's going to be a monthly program for $249.
That's pretty good. So who would you say would be your ideal client? The individual who would most benefit?
Anybody, just anybody.
No, we got through that already. We went through that. So, and who would be the ideal person you think that you would be able to most help? What problem is it that they're solving that you would help them with?
My ideal clients deals with being fatigued, questioning themselves. What is my life purpose? Why am I here? What is the next step? You know, what I find too with my ideal clients is a lot of them, when I'm talking with them, it's almost like they have an inner secret. It's like me when I was growing up, having that inner secret of knowing that I could heal people with my hands, but, you know, not wanting to say something about it because of being judged, you know, that fear of being judged. There isn't anybody I feel that I have worked with that I have not been able to identify with in one way, shape, form, or another. Because of my past, because of my previous lifestyle and my previous lives, I'm able to identify with anybody. And I may not have walked a mile in your shoes, but I've walked either the path behind you or in front of you. So it's dealing with those emotional things. People who are looking to be free from stress. You know, the stress is a big thing, especially now, the mental health. Like, I've been observing more and more people. Like, I was talking to a lady the other day who works in a grocery store, and she was sharing with me how much she doesn't like to, like, she misses, just because people aren't even using money, that they don't have the touch of the hand. Like, she misses that touch. And I would never have even thought of that in a grocery store, but you know, if it's happening there, imagine where else is happening, because humans require touch. You know, we're being told to stay away. So feel that missing of that connection, right? Of someone to talk with, someone to release. I think I covered most of it. I know I keep going off. That's just me though. That's the fun part of working with me and coaching, because you just never know what you're going to get.
So I know that since this is being done remotely, and I know you've got a partner in your business. So why don't you introduce us to your partner?
George. Meet George. This is George. George is very, very special. Thanks for introducing George. And
You're very welcome. Yeah. We could not go this session without introducing George. Oh, by the way, anyone who's watching this, George is actually a TikTok star. So you need to go check George out, all right?
You need to get more TikToks on for George, too.
So explain George, because George has some interesting designs on him. So explain George then.
So George came to me, again, I follow my intuition. When I met George, I was at, okay, you're going down here. He doesn't like not being seen. So we're going to have to adjust that a little bit, because George wants to be seen. He's a bit of a hog star too, like me. George came to me I was at an open house at one of the wellness centers here in town, and a lady she custom makes these. They're handmade, and she also induces Reiki energy into them and gives them lots of love and energy healing. So she's a very powerful healer, and she creates these little critters and then I forget where the money goes to, but she raises it, and I believe it goes to charity. So George is actually what is called a chakra bear. So these little triangles that are all over George are your actual chakras. And if you're not familiar with chakras, chakras are the energy centers, and they have different purposes and different meanings and different intentions. They connect with your emotions, and they also connect with your physical. So different organs within the body and such. So if any of the chakras are out of place or out of alignment, let's say, it's not like they're out of place. It's not, well, they sometimes do move over, but if they're out of alignment and not properly balanced, we can have different turmoil in different areas of our life. So just, excuse me, just by bringing the chakra into balance will actually eliminate some of the struggles that we're having. So we have the root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plex, heart, throat, brow or third eye, and then the crown chakra. And each of them have also a different color. So they also resonate with color, and they resonate with frequency and sound. So how George works is, being that I'm doing everything remotely, I like to have what I call a surrogate, right? So I can imagine, so when I'm working with a client, what I do is I connect with the energy and connect with the higher self, which is the energy field outside of ourselves. Like when I say connect with people's energy, we have auras. Most people have heard of an aura, that we have an aura. So those are the energy field with outside of ourselves. So you have your physical, and then there's different layers to the aura also. There's the physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, and they're on all different areas, right? So we have those things. So I use George as a surrogate. So let's see what's going on with you today, Josephine, if I may.
Okay, go for you.
Trying to do a scan here. Actually, you're doing pretty good. I'm not feeling anything too much out of balance. A little bit in the hip area. You still don't got those feet taken care of, do you?
I was weird.
So how was so what I just did there, for those that don't know, is I just did a scan. So I used George, basically pretending that this was Josephine. And then I used my hand scan, both hands, but I'm just to show you, and I scan over the body to pick up energies where there is imbalance, right? That it's out of balance. And it could be, and it's not good or bad, right or wrong, right? It's just out of balance. And I can't say if it's, pain or whatever, but I can just feel a sense that there's a difference in the field. So as you're moving over, you can even do it on yourself, right? Just rub your hands together, tap the inside of your hands, and then just go over your arm very slowly. And you should be able to feel like changes in energy. You'll feel like a thickness or a heaviness, right? And then where there's changes, you can actually see where there's an imbalance in your energy field. For those that have never worked with energy, just rubbing your hands together and then bring them out. This is one of the things. Okay. Close your eyes and slowly start bringing your hands together. And as you bring your hands together, you may feel hot or cold. You may feel pressure, kind of like when we were in grade school and you took two magnets and put the north and south pole together. And when you get to that point, you just stop moving your hands and then just pretend like that there's a balloon in between, and bounce that balloon in and out. And then you can feel that. And then when you've done that, open your eyes and you can see how far your hands are apart. So that's your own energy field that you're feeling. And then as you get closer, that pressure or whatever, tingling, cold, will actually get more intensified. So that's your own energy field. So everybody can do this. It's just a matter of the awareness of it. So I scanned that, and just to see where the imbalance is. And so that's how I use George.
So what was amazing to me the first time that you did this was that you had me lay down when we were doing the vibe session, you had me lay down. And as soon as you started, you asked me, is there something wrong with your eyes? And I'm like, damn. Because the night before, Echo, our dog, he was reaching up and his paw, like he clawed my eye. So my eye was in real pain. And I hadn't said anything to you, and you picked that up. And I was like, whoa. And then you picked up my feet, which is always my and you're right. they are basically in total pain right now. So you pick that up too. So there you go, right live on Facebook. Yeah. So and the thing about the aura, I remember many years ago, I met a woman who was looking into alternative healing because she had been diagnosed with cancer. She was told that she only had a few months to live, and she was looking into other possibilities of healing herself. And she was the first one that actually made me feel my aura. She was talking about auras, and I said, yeah, I heard about all of this stuff, but I'm not quite sure. She said, sit down, close your eyes. And then all I know is that I could simply feel a pressure, even though she wasn't physically touching me. As she moved her hands around me, I could feel where she was. I actually feel the pressure. And I never forgot that. And this must be over, what, 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago. But a lot of people don't realize that there is everything is energy. Energy affects us, affects the way that we live, affects our health. And we really owe it to ourselves to become more aware. Just be open. Just be open, you know? So, yeah. So Annette, what else can you share that would help anyone? So I know that maybe there are people that are listening to this right now, that there are some believers, there are people that actually have experienced this, so they know about it. There are people that really is like, I'm not sure. So what would you say to those people that said, I'm not sure, that would entice them to actually say, yeah, let me raise my hands. I'm not feeling as energetic as I used to. I'm really fatigued. I've tried everything, including massive doses of caffeine. It doesn't work, right? So I need help. What would you say to them that would let them raise their hands and say, okay, I'm open to actually trying this out?
Okay, that could be a whole nother hour show. But what intuitively is coming to me with that, there's a few different directions that I can go, and I'm going to choose this one and then maybe swing into the other one. We all have experiences that we're unaware of. We all have situations that occur in our life that some call them coincidences, some call them, that gut feeling. But if we become more aware and watching what goes on in our life, people like me, because I did not believe in psychics. I did not believe in mediums. I did not believe in any of this stuff 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Like, I was a very, very big skeptic. I was a skeptic of everything I do. So if you're a skeptic, talk to me. Told you, been there, done that, made the t-shirt, right? Being open, right? Like, we are programmed so much in this society to take a pill and get instant result, right? So a lot of people, when they go to a holistic or an alternative therapy, they're like, oh yeah, I did it 3 times, it didn't work. My question is, all right, if you're coming to me with an issue with your knee, how long has your knee bothered you? Oh, well, I injured it 15 years ago. Okay. When did it start bothering you? 5 years ago. Okay. And when did you start doing therapy for it? Well, it really got bad about a year ago. So now is when I'm looking for relief. So that's why, okay, so you've got how many, 10, 15 years. Do you really think that you're going to get relief in 3 weeks? It's taken 15 years to get to this point. I'm not saying it's going to take 15 years to clear it, but it's not going to happen in 3 weeks. So be open, and follow your own gut, right? There are many different things that can be done. Simple things, very simple things, so if you're dealing with stress, right? One of the best things to do when dealing with stress is go for a walk out in nature, right? And especially now, who cares what the weather is? We're with this isolation and with this COVID, I'm even noticing, like, I get out every single day and I'm finding it's not enough, because I was out a little bit more this weekend and physically my body is in pain because it's not accustomed to that much movement. So I need to incorporate more movement into my life. So going out for a walk, going for nature, that is the best thing for stress. Like, I walk around the block and it's all traffic. I live in a very populated area. So it's not a peaceful neighborhood, but it's at least out, you know, and if I want to go peaceful, then I go 2 blocks over and then I've got a peaceful area. I got a bush to walk in. The other thing is you can't get out. Like if it's to the point that you can't get out and take 15 minutes to go for a walk, breathe, focus on your breathing, right? Just be aware, like actually focus on your breath and then do a count, like breathe into the count of 6 and breathe out to the count of 6. That will actually bring more settling, and it will bring more clarity. Because if you're anything like me and you're in the middle, like I've got a pile of paper here and it's like, oh, how am I going to get this done? And I just get myself all frizzled up, right? And it's like, no, Annette, stop and breathe, right? Or I get up and I go for a walk. I come back and I look at the paper and going, you know what? This can be done. Like, obviously it can be done. I can't say it's impossible because somebody wrote it. So somebody's obviously done it once before. So it can be done. It's not impossible. And then the other thing is, if you're interested in finding out more about this, is I do offer a free 30-minute consultation. So, you know, get in contact with me. Let's have a conversation privately offline, you know, and ask me anything you want, right? And then you can also do, if the monthly V.I.B.E program isn't, you know, something that you're kind of on board with, try just do a single session. You know, do a V.I.B.E, just a single V.I.B.E session, try it out, see, and come in though with an open mind. Don't come in with expectations, because when we I have something here on my wall. What is it? Turn expectations into desire, right? Because when we have expectation, we get let down. Sometimes we get let down. So if we have, instead of saying an expectation, if we say, you know, let's have a desire. Sorry, I'm just muting my phone. Having it as a desire, then there's not the anticipation of the outcome.
Right. So you know what? Those were really good tips. Those were really, really good tips. Going out in nature, breathe in, right? I guess meditation as well, you know, just being quiet. One of the things that I've been trying to do is to extend the time.
Yoda
One of the
says
things
there
I
is no
have been
try.
doing, one of the things I have been doing is extending the time that I stay in silence. I used to do guided meditation. Now I am focusing on just being in silence. And it's the craziest thing, because the first time I started doing this, it was very, very, very difficult. I was starting to get antsy after about 5 minutes without having anything. I'm trying to keep control on my thoughts. But now the 15 minutes, I'm actually planning on extending it to 30 minutes. And putting that as my morning ritual, because I've been finding that has been helping me in terms of and then I've been using your soul tones, obviously. So I've been finding that the soul tones have helped me be calmer. The meditation has helped me. I mean, everything together has actually helped me increase my, I don't know what it is. Is it awareness? Is that the word? Awareness?
Consciousness.
It does, yeah, because it makes me more, I'm able to get a lot more done in a lot less time. I think the words I used with you last week is that it almost seems that time has slowed for me, which is crazy, because how? But time has slowed and I'm able to get more done in less of a stressed manner. I feel just like I'm in flow. That's what it feels like. And I can only contribute that to the work that we've been doing, and also the tools that you've given me, and this whole thing about trying and just stay silent. And I think that's a lot of people, if they just follow those simple tools, they'll really get a lot more done. So
you brought up a point that I didn't, sorry, just
yeah,
for interrupting. You brought up a point that I kind of failed about, mention about meditation, definitely, right? Now on YouTube, I do have several guided meditations, because when I first started meditating, the last thing you tell me to silence my mind, I'm sorry, there's a freaking rat race going on in here, and they got so many wheels that there's no way it can be silent. So I required that I required that guidedness so that I could focus on something, listening to somebody's voice, right? So I have several meditation. There's a walk with nature, which takes you into a bush, and you get to see all some wonderful people and creatures and stuff in your meditation. And then I have a very simple 10-minute grounding meditation. It's called Jessica's meditation. right? And the reason it's called Jessica's meditation is I have a client named Jessica who needed a meditation to help her ground. So I just quickly picked up my recorder and recorded it for her, but it turned out so well. There's a couple little glitches you can tell that it's not perfect, but I look at it this way: is what is perfection? You know, do we require perfection? Nothing is perfect. Like you look at an apple, there's very rarely, if it is perfect, it's genetically modified, right? We want this perfection world. So meditation on my YouTube channel. So if you go to ASP coaching on YouTube, you'll get all my meditations and stuff.
So what I'll do is I'll actually put in your group and your link. And I know that you have something coming out as well very soon, which is you have a free giveaway.
The 5-minute mental release exercises. So
5-minute mental release. So I'm going to tell everyone, you know, make sure that and is that available right now? It's going to be available next week.
It's very, very close. It's very close. Right. If anybody is interested in it, I think we might be able to pull it off, but it still just needs a little bit. I'm not looking for perfection, but I'm looking for some tweaking on it yet, just to get it free.
All right. Yeah. So keep in mind that, and when it's ready, we'll do a launch right in the group. How about that?
Cool.
All right. Cool. All right. So I'll make sure I put all the links down below so people can get a hold of you. And Annette, thank you so much for being on here today. Thank you for introducing George to us. Thank you for introducing the Vibe system. Thank you for being so honest and open and vulnerable and authentic and showing us that, you know, there are other alternatives out there. And thank you for just being you.
Thanks, Josephine. You made it simple.
You're very welcome, my dear. All right, everyone on Facebook. I wish again Canadians have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yeah, and Americans have a fantastic start of the week. And then we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.